US President Donald Trump has branded Iran's terms for ending the war totally unacceptable, raising the likelihood of renewed conflict after weeks of negotiations. Well, Iran says its response was a rejection of the US proposal. Iran had sent its response via Pakistani mediators. Soon after Trump's comments, Iranian media released the details of the proposal, while Iran seeks to end the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon. It also wants US to pay war damages and recognize Iran's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. Well, Iran has also demanded an end of American sanctions and the release of Iran's blocked assets by the US. According to the semi-official Tasnim news agency, the response also calls on the US to end its naval blockade, guaranteed no further attacks, and end a US ban on Iranian oil sales. Well, Trump himself provided no details on Tehran's counter-proposal, but in a brief post on his Truth Social platform, made clear that he was rejecting it. Trump said, and I quote him here, "I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. Totally unacceptable," unquote. The American proposal had reportedly focused on extending the truce in the Gulf to allow for talks on a final settlement of the conflict and on Iran's contested nuclear program. Well, Iranian state television reports that Tehran rejected the proposal as amounting to surrender. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said on Sunday on the platform X that Iran will never bow down to the enemy, and if there is a talk or a dialogue or negotiation, it does not mean surrender or retreat. Well, the back and forth came as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insisted the conflict was not over until Iran's enriched uranium was removed and its nuclear facilities are dismantled. The Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the matter, said Iran has laid out its own demands to US and proposed to have some of its highly enriched uranium diluted and the rest transferred to a third country. Well, Iran has reportedly also sought guarantees that the transferred uranium will be returned if negotiations fail or Washington quits the agreement later. Well, Trump made no mention of such details in rejecting Iran's response. A senior US administration's official said that Trump is expected to press President Xi Jinping, a major buyer of Iranian oil from China, on Iran when he visits Beijing this coming week. Well, Iran imposed a blockade on the vital Strait of Hormuz early in the war, sending global oil prices soaring and rattling financial markets. The US Navy, meanwhile, is blockading Iran's ports, at times disabling or diverting ships heading to and from them.